Let's go ahead and talk about Dragon Ball Super episode 78. It's officially out. Let's go ahead and review it here. So if you haven't seen the episode of Dragon Ball Super, I implore you to go check it out and then come back to this afterwards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it today. Now, episode 78 takes place where the last one left off, of course, as you would expect, right? But pretty much we take place on the Elder Kai planet, or excuse me, the Supreme Kai planet. And the Daishinkan is there, and he's explaining the rules of the tournament, in which he explains that, as we knew, or if you somehow avoided spoilers, right? Basically, how this works is the losers basically have their tournaments, have their universes destroyed as a result of the tournament. Now, those stakes are ridiculous. That's officially probably Goku's biggest mistake in the series, period, because obviously I do feel like, and I've talked about it in videos before, I do feel like there will be a way that they kind of change this or remedy this to where everybody doesn't have to die, because if you look at it, there's billions or whatever the number is, so many species and beings in all these individual universes, so that's mass murder. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's genocide. I don't think Dragon Ball is going to get into that type of concept. Also, it wouldn't surprise me if they just did this and just said, okay, well, all these characters are dead, because, I don't think they really expected to think that deeply into it. But Dragon Ball is secretly pretty dark, because the way that the last arc ended, the Trunks one, it's oh, he's going back to a time where there's already him and Amai, and he has to live with the fact that all the characters he officially knew in that continuity of them are all dead. Even all the little kids are all dead. It's these people that he's with now are not the same person. They're not dead, they're alive. But he knows. It's weird, talking about Trunks. So Dragon Ball Super is kind of secretly pretty dark there. But I digress. Back to the main plot of this episode. Goku then has to take responsibility per Beerus. And Beerus says something interesting. All the while, before I talk about Beerus, the Kais are talking it kind of gives me the vibe that when Zeno, if they were to lose, right, and Zeno destroys Universe 7, it gives me the vibe that he would just retract the gods, all the Kais and Beerus and all them. Because I don't expect Whis to die as a result of that, for example, right? It kind of gives me the vibe that he'll just be hey, all you guys come back, I'm about to destroy the universe. But once again, I kind of get the vibe that he may just do it anyway, because that's what he did with Zamasu. But then again, never mind, I take that back. It's a little late, forgive me, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Zamasu had already killed all the Kais, so it was no for him to retract in that timeline. So I don't really know, but the Supreme Kai said, hey, if all these guys were dead, I wouldn't be able to show my face. I'd be, basically disgraced. So it kind of makes me think that, he's going to retract them and, probably assign them some other roles maybe in the future or something like that. And then Beerus is hey, you may think that Zeno is your friend, but he won't hesitate to kill you, which is interesting, too, because Goku's so chummy with all that, but they're establishing that there is sort of this boundary between those two. It's not because there's always been a boundary, right? Characters like Beerus and all these guys, except for Whis, he's really neutral. He doesn't say anything. But the characters that really hound Goku for his mannerisms and stuff, they establish this barrier. Hey, you need to respect this guy. You need to respect authority, basically. And Goku never really got it because he's chummy. He's buddy with Zeno. Zeno gave him the button. They're good. Zeno's basically his best friend aside from the other Zeno. So there is that dynamic still, but Beerus is hey, he will destroy you. If it comes down to that, he will destroy you. So then Goku has to go recruit a couple members. He asks Vegeta. Vegeta's still in the midst of the Bulla thing with Bra/Bulla, being born soon, and he's not trying to do anything. Goten and Trunks are there training. Goku's I don't think they're ready. I think he says something like that, something to that effect. And Vegeta's hey, go ask your son. Goku catches on. He goes to ask Gohan, in which it's nice to see Gohan in his element again. It's cool to see him as family man Gohan sometimes. And obviously, Goku's hey, I want you to fight. And Gohan's I don't know. He's hey, you'll get your fighting sense back in no time, but here's a little quick incentive to make you fight. If we lose, your daughter's dead. That's not really what he said, but that is what he said, because he said it in a persuasive way. And it's Goku, bro, that's your granddaughter, your family. That implies Chi-Chi, Goten, Gohan. All your guys are going to be dead if you lose. It's another reason why this is so stupid for Goku. We know Universe 7 won't lose. They can't lose unless they retcon the end of Super. Universe 7 is there. They're fine. Whatever's going to happen. Excuse me, the end of Z. So it's and then also they're not going to kill the main characters, right? And before they kill everybody in Universe 7 and just start off with the Universe 9 characters, it'd be weird. Wouldn't be marketable. At least I don't think so. But once again, moving on from there, Gohan agrees, but at the request that Goku doesn't tell anyone but him about the prerequisite, or excuse me, the outcome, that if they lose, I've said excuse me a lot here, it's just my way of correcting my mistakes, forgive me, but if they lose, that everything's going to be destroyed. He doesn't want a mass panic because he said everybody would just freak out, so they don't tell anybody. He then immediately requests Buu to join him, and then we have the 3-person cell, the signing, Goku, Gohan, and Majin Buu. And that's interesting because we didn't get to see Majin Buu fight in the previous tournament. I forget what happened to him in the manga. It was so long ago. He didn't pass the test, I think, in the manga. And then in the anime, he just fell asleep altogether, which kind of is the same thing. He didn't get to fight either way in that previous Champa tournament arc. So Gohan also wasn't there because he had that stupid conference. That really legit pissed me off. He had the conference, then he turned down the job later, which, I mean, it's a cool character moment for him, but it kind of just is like, why did you have to miss the whole arc? So regardless, it's nice to see that they're the first couple of people that came to Goku's mind, or the first couple of people that we will actually get to see to fight, right? Because we saw Vegeta get requested, Vegeta turn him down. So that's pretty cool. We'll get to see Gohan. Now, after this, we have all the gods and everybody assembling, which I thought was a nice little touch because we haven't seen all these characters. Now, people have been saying, oh my god, we're going to see, 10 people on each team. There's going to be hundreds of new characters. I'm like, yeah, I completely expect them to take the easy way out. I don't think they're going to draw this out that much, in which they could, but I expect them to probably only show us like 3 or 4 universes worth of characters, and then the other universes will spar it out amongst themselves and just privately get phased out, and we won't really see too much. We'll see a lot of panned out images and stuff like that. I just don't expect a lot of that. But regardless, it was cool to see all the different angels. Like I dropped a video, which I'll leave annotated at the end of this video. It'll pop right on the screen, last 15 seconds, where Real to Real and I, shout out to Mark, aka Real to Real, an awesome guy. We talked about whether or not all of the angels are descendants of Daishinkan, like his children, basically, his offspring. And they all look the same. All the angels look exactly like Vados and Whis, so it's highly possible they're all related. I was gonna say that it was kind of weird because I think the Universe 9 angel, who's interesting, like he's the complete opposite of Whis. He's like really outspoken and he looks really greedy. But he referred to him as Daishinkan-sama, but Whis also kind of does that too. I think that when Whis called him father, it was more or less a way for them to drop that in there, because Whis also, every other time he's ever spoken to the Daishinkan, he's always referred to him as Daishinkan or Grand Beast or whatever. I think they just kind of threw that father line in there just so we can know that there's a connection between those two, because they do look similar either way. I don't expect that, coming out later on. So it is possible that they're all related, and it was nice to see them. And then we get to see all the other gods of destructions and their requisite Kais from their planets. Now, excuse me, I think that was that the angel? It was either the angel or the Kai. I think it was the angel, though, that I was talking about, that looked greedy and had that malicious look on his face. And Basil, I'm going to have to learn all these characters' names, those wolf guys' names. They're out there. I know the names. I just haven't memorized them all. But anyways, Basil, whatever, tomato, don't at me. He fights Buu, and Buu is just, he's taking it like a man. He's just laughing, having a good time. I expect Buu to turn it up a little bit in the next episode, but in the preview, it still kind of looks like he's joking around, so I don't really know what to expect from him, to be honest. I'm just happy that Gohan's there. Gohan should be fighting in the next episode after that, probably episode 80 or the end of 79, something like that, so it'll be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video nonetheless. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will catch you guys in the next super review next week. I should be dropping a discussion video in the middle of the week, like I always do, 1 or 2 discussions a week, and super reviews and all my other requisite content. But have an awesome day. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.